Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Capricorn September 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. And what does that mean? That means that in today's reading, we are going to be taking a look at a challenge that Spirit is asking you to face and overcome this month that is going to better help you engage with your unique spirit, that part of ourselves that rises up and out to meet the challenges that we are presented with. And this is so that you can better unlock those heroic capabilities that lie within you, that help us be able to see our path and understand our purpose and really get closer to those feelings of emotional fulfillment that come when we know where we fit, when we really understand where we can be of service to the greater collective experience. So hi Capricorn, welcome to September. I hope all of you had a wonderful August. I don't know if you guys experienced it the same way that I did, but wow, I felt like August flew by. A lot going on there. Okay, so Capricorn, when I first started your reading and I was getting into your energy, I saw the image of a fire, and I felt intuitively like something was burning down, or something within you, was needing to kind of be cleaned out on a spiritual level. And I did hear the lyrics from a song, and I can't quite place the artist, but the lyrics were, "I'm gonna burn this house down." And so there's something here where I'm getting this feeling that there's almost like this spiritual cleansing that's happening within you, that there's been a change, and that perhaps you're facing something. I'm looking at the energy you're bringing into the month of September is the Hanged Man. This is Piscean energy. It's one where we get the beautiful opportunity to kind of pause on a internal level, to see something from a new perspective, to see something from this perspective of God, spirit, source energy, however you choose to explain that to yourself or, experience it for yourself. But the Hanged Man is one where when it's internal, this is when we force ourselves to take that pause, where we want, the Hanged Man card actually does, it represents on some level the story of Odin, the Nordic story of how he hung himself purposely upside down and blinded himself in one eye so that he could sit and wait for the knowledge that comes from spirit, for his sacrifice of basically giving up part of his sight so that he could use that wounded eye to actually see within, to connect to spirit so that he could read the rune tablets. And so there was something here around being able to have this momentary pause, a sacrifice perhaps of time, or a sacrifice even of kind of going in to take a look at your emotional wounding, to really allow yourself to see something, to almost decode something about yourself that you're going to be able to bring up and out into your current experience. Because in September, you're surrounded by the Nine of Pentacles, which actually is a very good card to have, a very good energy to have around you. It's one of abundance. It can even be seen as financial independence, but it's one where you have a lot of resources at your disposal to utilize. And really what I'm seeing here with the Six of Swords underlaid by the Ten of Cups and the Four of Pentacles here, there's an element this month of being able to move on, being able to transcend, I think, a place where you've been kind of mentally stuck for some time that has prevented you from really being able to, I think, see something about yourself, see something about your experience, and really be able to tap into the abundance that's at your disposal. Because at the underneath with the Ten of Cups and the Four of Coins, there's been something around holding yourself back, holding back on a physical level. Pentacles represent, or coins, however you choose to see them, represent our physical experience. So this can be money, it can be time, it can be energy, it can be anything that we see and can utilize in our physical experience to create or manifest something. And so with the Ten of Cups, which is kind of like our idyllic vision of what we would like our lives to feel like, touching a little bit of that bridging of experiencing our vision of heaven on earth for ourselves. The Four of Coins was kind of holding yourself back. There was something here that you really wanted that was part of that feeling for yourself. But with the Four of Coins, this speaks to kind of just, it's almost like I have enough and I'm not willing to invest, to go the one step further. I'm holding myself back from really leaning into this Ten of Cups. And this could be maybe where you were saving and saving and saving for something that would really lead to this Ten of Cups, but you weren't willing to finally just kind of bite the bullet and, put the money down on the new house, or bite the bullet and finally move into the home that you moved into, buy the furniture, put up the curtains, that kind of thing. Or this could be where maybe you weren't willing to invest in the business you wanted to start. You saw it, you could feel it, but you just couldn't do it. And there's an element here of being able to finally move on from this kind of period of waiting, from this period of I think a little bit of a fear mentality around chasing, around actually manifesting that Ten of Cups for yourself and leaning into it. And this month, with the Nine of Pentacles around you, I think you're really going to see the opportunities you have, the abundance you have that perhaps you hadn't been able to see before. That there's going to be this change of perspective from within. It's kind of burning down the fear-minded mentality within yourself, releasing that and being able to say, wow, I actually have quite a bit around me, quite a bit to be very happy with, quite a bit also to utilize to put towards this Ten of Cups. And that journey starts with a change in perspective, which is what the Six of Cups the Six of Swords represents. It's that transcending fear-based limitations on a mental plane so that then you can experience that the ability to transcend physical limitations in your physical plane. So this can be a very powerful month for you, Capricorn. It's one where you, I think, really get to step up into your power, because Capricorn, your motto in the world of astrology is I use, meaning that you are able to take what is at your disposal and utilize it in the best way to be able to accomplish your goals. That's why you are a cardinal earth sign, and you have the strength to be able to kind of set your sights on what you want to do and then make it happen, build it, create it, manifest it in the physical. Okay, so let's see what's coming up. Now we're going to take a look at your blocks. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles with the Four of Pentacles again. So there's, a double confirmation with the Two of Cups in the middle, which I love. So the Three of Pentacles coming up is your main point of challenge. This is your main block. So there's a block here around really being clear on what you want to build for yourself and who you want to build it around, and being able to lean into that for yourself. To be able to say, I do get the feeling that there's something new you want to build. There's a vision that you've seen as you've had this kind of internal emotional, I wouldn't say stagnation, but it's the internal emotional pause that you forced yourself to kind of sit with. And I think you've seen this vision that you want, something new that you want to build and bring into your physical experience. But with the Four of Pentacles coming in after that, there's this element again of holding yourself back. There's this element of being able to, I think, really see where you've been holding yourself back from investing in your new vision, in your new dream. And with the Two of Cups coming in at the heart of your reading, I just want to say the Ten of Cups came in again, also double confirmation. So there is a mirroring effect coming in here of the Four of Pentacles holding yourself back from investing physically into the emotional Ten of Cups, the emotional heart's desire you want to feel in this experience. And what Spirit's saying is the Two of Cups being at the heart of your reading is what they're asking you to embrace. It's saying this is the missing link between the Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, is the Two of Cups. It's the connection. It's the connecting with others on an equal level. It's sharing what's in your cup, sharing what you want. This would be like going to your partner and saying, I really want to build this business. It's part of my legacy for myself. Or I really want to move into a new home or move to a new location because it's part of what I want to build for this future vision, part of my Ten of Cups. And it's getting others on board and trusting that others will be there to support you in this. It's also really, I get the feeling, leaning on your support system. Really seeing who you have around you, that you have allowed to be there for you, that you have allowed to meet your cup equally. Because that's really what the Two of Cups speaks to, is equal support, equal on an emotional level, that both people can come vulnerably cup to cup and really share. It's that level of finding the perfect business partner that really complements you, or finding the perfect romantic partner that really complements you, or that amazing group of friends that when you get together, you all are able to support each other on, again, an equal basis. And there's not just like one person who everybody has to hold up. It's that you all get the chance to do that with each other at some point. So that's really what Spirit's asking you to embrace here, is to, we all get to that point where, yeah, there is this fear point of like, if I invest, if I go after this Ten of Cups, if I start to make the plans to build or move towards this new vision for myself, am I going to have enough? And what Spirit's telling you is that, yeah, you have quite a bit. You're surrounded by enough. You have a lot of resources. And for some of you, this may be, again, with this Hanged Man, it's seeing something in a new perspective. It might be actually seeing that maybe you think you don't have enough money, but suddenly you realize, well, I have a lot of time. Maybe you just retired, or maybe you're a student, or maybe you are somebody who had the opportunity to become a stay-at-home mom, something like that, where something's changed. Now you're like, well, I have an abundance of time, and that abundance of time can allow me to, maybe I can't financially invest in this right now, but I can start to lay the foundation by taking a small course that allows me to start to take the first steps towards building this. Or I do have an abundance maybe around me in physical things that I can maybe sell, or I can invest, pull from my investments, things along that line. Or maybe you just have an abundance of, stuff that you can actually pull together. It could be one of those things where you open up a box in your garage or something like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have an abundance of, you fill in the blank. It could be, I have an abundance of yarn, and I totally forgot that I loved to knit way back in the day, or knit and crochet, and suddenly you're like, well, ding, 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 part of my Ten of Cups is leaning into getting more back in touch with my creative side, and I need that, but I haven't had the time. I've been working so much, and I have lost sight of a hobby I used to have. Or it's like opening a box, and maybe you find a bunch of climbing gear from way back in the day when you used to rock climb, and you're realizing, whoa, I do have something that I can invest towards getting back in touch with my Ten of Cups. It's almost like you quickly had a glimpse of your Ten of Cups. You quickly had a glimpse of this future vision for yourself. And then you said, no, I can't do it. No, no. And this is the month where you can start to take those baby steps towards it. And Spirit's saying you have quite a bit of abundance around you. You have more than enough. The Nine of Pentacles speaks to living very comfortably. Oh, and the Nine of Cups. I love this. You have the Ten of Cups, the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is the wish for the Ten of Cups. It's leaning into that vulnerable place in our experience when we just openly and vulnerably say, this is what I want. This is the missing piece. I have 9 cups. I have so much to be happy for, but there's that one extra thing. I want to live a life where I'm free to travel, or I want to have a child, or I want to move into a bigger home, or I want to write that book. There's that something in here that's coming through that this is your final point of challenge, where you actually have to face that within yourself. What is that deep wish that's going to create the 10 of Cups? It's almost like you have all the pieces on the board, but there's one thing missing, and you're too afraid to wish for it. And this is saying the support group around you is there, whether it's just an individual person, your romantic partner or a business partner or something like that, a really close friend or family member, or whether this is an entire support group, people that you connect with. But it's saying the more that you share and admit to yourself what this wish is for you, you will get closer to this 10 of Cups. And yes, it might involve investing time, energy, money, taking from the abundance that you have and bringing it into a way, kind of like reinvesting it. But that's what the Three of Pentacles is. The Three of Pentacles is taking what you have with an eye to a future goal, a future vision for yourself, and allowing others to come in with their resources as well to help make that happen. But there's an element here where you have to share this with others. That's the Three of Pentacles, sharing it with others. Two of Cups, sharing it with others on an emotional level. The Nine of Cups, sharing that wish with the divine and yourself. So it's a really positive month for you. It's almost as simple as you have to admit to yourself the dream that you want and realize you have the resources to do so. But that won't happen until you start to share that with yourself, with others, and even with the divine, to say, God, Spirit, this is what I want for myself. Okay, Queen of Swords. So I'm going to start to pull some clarifiers here. We're going to get some additional information. Queen of Swords is a beautiful energy to come out with the Three of Coins, because it speaks to she's able to really grasp what she's gone through in her experience and to understand how strong she is, the lessons she's learned. Ooh, with the High Priestess as well. So there's an element here of really understanding, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I've been through. I know how strong I am at this point. I can speak from that place. I can invite others to speak from their experience as well, to learn from them. And with the High Priestess, this is also a deep intuitive knowing. This is also that feeling of when you know. It's like seeing that vision, especially with it coming up with the Hanged Man. It's you've gone within, and on a deep intuitive knowing, you've made a decision. You know what it is that you want, and it was because you took this moment to really go within and assess something on a deeply emotional and spiritual level. And now you know what you're capable of, and you know what you want. And it's not coming from outward pressure or outward I would say, it's not coming from anything outside of yourself. This vision is coming from within, but it's also coming through your direct connection to Spirit. Okay, Four of Pentacles, and then here we have the 10 of Pentacles. So yes, so the 10 of Pentacles is one pentacle up from the 9 of Pentacles. This is when we experience our ultimate legacy in the physical environment. So yeah, you've been holding yourself back from investing in something that can lead to this legacy. You've been really holding yourself back from allowing yourself to, when we think about it, we can sit with the Four of Coins. The Four of Coins is when we have just enough. We have we have the Four of Coins to kind of create a stable platform. But it's also where we get stuck. It's where we sit there and say, okay, well, we have just enough. Our bills are covered. Our, the electricity is on. That's great. We have just enough to go out to eat a couple times a month, that kind of thing. But then there's this element of like, okay, but now you see something else that you would like to build for yourself. I mean, is there an emotional connection here with the Four of Pentacles? Is that enough? I think that's a question you have to ask yourself this month, Capricorn, is that enough? Or do you know that you're capable of creating so much more for yourself, of stepping up into your birthright as a Capricorn to create for yourself the feeling of abundance that you want, but to create it in the physical world, to manifest it? And in order to do that, you have to invest a little bit of what you currently have now. Yes, the world. Okay, the world's kind of like a hard stop. It's saying the past cycle's over. It's done. Whoever you've been and whatever you've gone through up until this point, that's done. And this may even be with these two coming up. It might be that you've had to let go of maybe a past, whatever you had been working towards previously. So this can be where maybe up to this point you had been investing in working for a company long term, and you were ready to capitalize on getting to a certain point and making a certain amount of money. But this is saying that's done. This could be like making a hard, quick adjustment to suddenly saying, I'm going to go out and be a consultant, a private consultant, or I'm going to start my own business. And I'm going to have to let go of what I had been working towards previously. Or this can be saying, me and my husband had spent all these years working towards building this home. And now I have a new vision for myself that doesn't involve this home. So now it's time to release this 10 of coins, this ultimate fulfillment of what we had been working towards. And now it's time to sell the home and reinvest this in a new vision for ourselves and something else that now directly connects me to the 10 of cups. Because whatever you've been working on here, there's an element of, even though, yes, you had been abundant, the world denotes that cycle's over. You've learned everything you can learn in that cycle, and you're being asked out to go through a spiritual growth phase. To enter a new phase, it's going to involve you being able to touch on that little piece of heaven on earth, but that is going to involve a sacrifice of some sort. Just like you had to have the internal sacrifice here, just like Odin had to cut out his own eye to be able to actually see more. There's an element here of having to sacrifice something that you're currently sitting on to be able to put towards the new. Okay, so now let's see. And this could also even be like manifesting, a family, something along those lines, where now it's like, okay, the children have grown up. Now you have all this free time. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to reinvest that now? Okay, so we have the 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups. Oh, here we go. We have the 9 of Pentacles again, so same card as over there. So there's an element here of really getting clear and connecting with people, and the Queen of Cups. Oh, I love that. Okay. So yeah, there's an element of really sharing with others the abundance that you have. With the Queen of Cups coming in, there's that beautiful element too of unconditional love, of sharing that love with others, of understanding the importance of what's in your cup, understanding the importance of your own emotional needs and dreams, and holding that sacred. Because that's what the Queen of Cups does. And she shares it with others, knowing that it will never be depleted, because the unconditional love from the divine that pours into her cup is continually overflows. So she can continually share that with others. But she understands the importance of doing so. But there's an element here of also really speaking to self-mothering, speaking to sharing your abundance with those that are around you, and also understanding too that sometimes abundance can come from the sharing of a new dream and somebody buying into that and looking to help, or from somebody else saying, yeah, I have time, I can dedicate something to this. Okay, let's see about the 10 of Cups. We have the 8 of Coins and the 8 of Swords. Interesting. Okay, so the 10 of Cups, there's an element around wanting to perfect something, wanting to work towards something, wanting to build something, and yet you feel stuck, you feel trapped. The 8 of Swords is one where I like to actually say that this is mental entrapment. It's actually a card that, for me, speaks to the mental programming we have put in place to kind of prevent ourselves from actually being able to reach the 6 of Swords, meaning that we kind of put up these swords in a specific way, kind of like a maze, where we prevent ourselves from ever getting to the core, ever getting out of the maze, meaning that it's all the negative programming of where we say, well, I really would like to live in another location. But then the first sword comes up and says, yes, but we don't have the money to move someplace else because every other place that we live in is more expensive than here. And so then you get stopped there, and then you try to go to maybe around it. So you go to the left and you say, yes, but maybe we could find a place that's a little less expensive. And then another sword comes up and says, yeah, but are you going to be able to find a job someplace else? I mean, the jobs only exist in the more populated areas. And then you're like, okay, so then you go to the right and you say, well, maybe I could find a work from home remote position and I could work anywhere. And then you say, well, are you really going to leave the security of the current job you're in? Like, what if you do that and you don't make enough, or you get fired right after that, or you can't find the job? And so then you go again over here and you come back to the first, the first sword, and you're faced with, yeah, but I really want to move. And you say, yeah, but it's so expensive. Every other place is so expensive. Like, do you really want to sacrifice the home that you have a great, APR on and all this, that kind of thing. Or an interest rate. It's like where you kind of keep yourself in this loop instead of just saying, breaking free, transcending that to say, you know what? I'm just going to get in the boat and go in the other direction and say, screw that. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I have currently in my physical experience that I can utilize towards the building of something new for myself. I have a dream in my heart. I have a feeling that I want. And I'm going to just start working towards this. Again, it doesn't have to be all at once. It could be a little bit at a time. It's like, yeah, I would like to move. So what do I need to do to make that happen? And it could be something as simple as every day just researching affordable living places that have a lot of the things that you want to experience in your life. And you're simply building one little thing at a time. You're perfecting something. Or if you want to open a business, but you need to perfect a skill set, well, then it's about maybe signing up for that free online course that allows you to start to build the groundwork for something, because you have an element of freedom of time. So there is this element here of getting out of that kind of negative loop of I can't do something, and saying, no, it's time to transcend that physically and say, you can do it, you want to do it, the dream is in your heart. Let yourself lean into that. Let others around you support you while you are doing that. And really lean into the abundance that you have right now that you can start to put towards this new thing for yourself. The more that we try to deny what's in our hearts, what we want at that core being for ourselves, the more we become disconnected from our life. And that's where we start to kind of get into that martyr syndrome of, I have to keep doing this for somebody else. When in reality, what you're really saying is the person in my life doesn't support me enough for them to want to help make my dream come true as much as I'm helping make theirs come true. And so there's this feeling here of really saying, breaking down through that wall and saying, what do you want, Capricorn? It's time for you to see for yourself what you want and really start to lean into, there's probably a lot of other people who really want to see that happen for you as well, and who are willing to help you make it happen. But you first have to admit it to yourself on an emotional level. And you have to lean into the dream, into the feeling it ignites within your heart, within the core of your being. And then really allow others to hear what that is as you speak to that, because we have the Wheel of Fortune and Strength coming up as your final cards here for the Nine of Cups, as your final point of challenge. If you can make that wish, if you can dream the dream and say, I'm going to take action. I'm going to just spirit, God, universe, this is what I want. Help make it happen. And you have the strength to truly break down that wall and see yourself and your needs from a new perspective. That's where the wheel turns over. That's where the new cycle begins. This is where luck and fortune come in. But you have to have the strength, the courage to admit that and start to work towards it. I love this for you, Capricorn. Okay, so now I'm going to pull 3 cards here for additional advice from Spirit. So the first card is going to be for the concept of curiosity, and this is where Spirit would like you to open yourself up kind of in an innocent and optimistic way to allow Spirit to have a channel to come in and show you something you wouldn't have already realized. It's also a channel for Spirit to come in with a miracle for you this month. You know, when we think about staying curious in our lives, it is about keeping our eyes focused forward, wondering with optimism and not fear around what's around the next bend in our path for ourselves, and holding ourselves in the present moment in a suspended state of awe and wonder about what we don't know is waiting to come in for us. Okay, Capricorn, so let's see what's coming in for you guys. What does Spirit want you to know? Actually, this is kind of an awkward card. I'm going to take this one. Oh, and it's upside down. Interesting. Okay, so we have Angel of Balance reverse. I don't put reversals in my deck. It's number 48 that breaks down to the number 12, further breaks down to the number 3. For me, this is the number of divinity, of divine timing. It's a number also of creativity and greeting life with the innocence and optimism of a child. So it's beautiful. Now, Angel of Balance, normally coming up in this way, I would say this is, you know, one of almost like representing the Temperance card in the tarot. But coming up reversed, I think for some of you, there's an element of something that is not in balance. And I think in some way, as I'm just kind of like hearing the messages that are coming in, there's an element of where you've allowed something to not be in balance, meaning that putting others before yourself, others' needs, or maybe not allowing yourself, again, that the element of wishing when maybe somebody else in your life has had their wishes come true. So it's about saying, I think here, that life needs to be balanced. We should always be forced to, or not forced, but we should always attempt to achieve balance. And if we are out of balance, the universal forces will come in and try to balance it out. That's just kind of the underlying element of our existence, is balance, is a kind of call towards balance. But for some of you guys, I think there's this feeling of sometimes we don't always have to keep the balance. Like I'm feeling that this is almost more like keeping the peace. There's this element of not wanting to maybe rock the boat, you know, with the 6 of Swords, that I want to move on, but can I take everybody with me? And this is saying, well, you know, maybe not everybody is ready to go for the next leg of your journey. Or maybe if you share that with them, instead of, there's an element here of almost like trying to get in the boat and run away by yourself. And it's saying, no, why don't you invite others to get in the boat with you? Why don't you realize that, you know, we can't always have an element of wanting to keep the peace. You know, sometimes we do have to rock the boat a little bit, and we have to get in it, and we have to say, okay, like if you know, this is the new, what I'm working towards. This is what I want for myself. This is the dream I really need to have realized in my experience, and which has not been met yet. And if you're not willing to come into the boat with me, I'm going to have to go it alone. And there is that element here of kind of realizing that we can't always keep the peace. We can't always try to tiptoe around everybody. It's that feeling of true balance comes when we follow our dream, when we're open and we're honest about it, when we're open emotionally, and we invite others to join. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull an additional clarifier card here for this one. So let's see. get another piece, another layer of advice from Spirit. And I'm just going to pull this one because this deck is really hard for me to shuffle. And I think here is going to be it. So let's see. So we have Buffalo Spirit. Yes, the abundant universe will provide, number 10, breaking down to a number 1. So this is the closing out of a cycle, starting of a new cycle. And I think for some of you, there's this element of feeling that as you start to move forward in this new cycle and release something that you had been previously working on or working towards or working within, that there's a feeling of kind of a lack mentality. That's why you've been hanging on to your resources. And this is saying, remember, the abundant universe will provide. You may not feel that you have maybe the resources in the boat to allow you to go the full journey, especially when you don't really know where this journey is taking you. You have a vision, but we never know fully where the end point of our journey is going to go. But this is saying it's okay. Get in the boat and go anyways. And the abundant universe will provide. It's almost like saying, you're going to go around the bend and there's going to be, the person giving away food for free or going to go around the bend. And this is where you meet somebody who says, I'd love to invest in that business. Or I'd love to have you come live with me for a while so you can save money for, the dream of traveling around the world. There's that element here of really leaning into the support system you have, the abundance, the physical abundance around you. Again, time, energy, money. So some other person may have a resource that you can tap into. And that's part of your 2 of Cups. That's part of the resources around you, the support group that you have. So don't worry about kind of shaking the boat. Don't worry about upsetting the balance. This is saying, it's going to feel a little rocky because you're going out on a new adventure. And the boat, when you first step into it, might feel a little, whoa, but it's meant to be. This is the necessary step to get towards your 10 of Cups, to make this heart's dream come true. Okay, so stay curious as to where perhaps maybe you're holding yourself back from fear of kind of changing up the balance, where you feel that maybe this is going to offset the very carefully balanced life you're leading, and where it's saying, sometimes it has to happen that way. Or maybe you feel something right now is out of balance because there's a change that's happened. And it's saying it's okay. Lean into it. Lean into the lack of stability, because this is exactly where the miracle is going to come in for you. This can be that point of freedom. Okay. And the beautiful thing about the 6 of Swords is that it denotes smooth sailing ahead. It denotes leaving a time of turmoil and kind of rough seas to move towards those calm waters. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a card here for the concept of courage, and this is what Spirit would like you to keep in mind as you're having the courage to take action. All right, so it says surrender your ego. It says cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. And sometimes the most humbling thing is we have to ask for help. We have to say, look, I need this to happen for myself. I need to walk away from this job, or I need to move to a new location. We need to move to a bigger home, or we need to something. And it's letting go of your ego. You may feel like, well, if I admit that I want to pursue my dream of writing, it means that maybe you have to walk away from being the breadwinner of the family or doing everything for the family. Maybe it means that right now you're working full time, you come home, you take care of the kids, and you do all this stuff, and it's can be a wounding point of saying, well, I can't do it all myself, so I need help. But coming from that place of humility, coming from the place of, will you help me realize my dream? And the 2 of Cups is saying you got lots of people around you who are going to say yes. So don't worry. And I know, it's interesting, Capricorn. Many people don't realize your true symbol. They just think, oh, you're the goat. But you're the sea goat, meaning that you are the goat that comes out of the depths of the sea to climb to the farthest reaches of the mountaintop. And that shows that you have this beautiful connection to a deep, intuitive connection to your emotions, but you tend to hide that. You tend to be so focused on climbing to the top of the mountain that often you don't share that emotional depth that you have come from, or that emotional depth that lies within you at all times. And this is saying sometimes it's okay to come from that place. It's okay to share what your hopes and dreams are. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know how, it's okay. It's not, something that's going to make others see less of you. It's actually going to allow others to see more of you. And those that truly respect and love you want to see that from you. Okay. And now I'm going to pull a final card here for the concept of contemplation. And this is where Spirit would like you to keep in mind as a point of reflection for the month, to really ground this message into your monthly experience. So as you're going through your day, you can just kind of keep this point in mind, and it's going to help be almost like your guiding compass of like, am I in alignment with this point of reflection? It's where Spirit's going to kind of come in and gently nudge you to say, why don't you just take this action instead of that? Or why don't you just look over here instead of over there? And it reminds us too, contemplation really reminds us to stay reflective in the moment so that we can be present, because the present moment is where we are the most powerful. It's where we get to make those decisions, those tiny decisions that change the trajectory of our course, of our path. So we have Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. I always love when this card comes up because there's an element here of it's almost like a redevotion to a principle that I feel is integral to us experiencing as humans a healthy spiritual connection to our experience. And that is really devoting ourselves to the element of beauty. The beauty that's within us, the beauty that's around us and the people that we are surrounded by, and the beauty of life in that sense of awe and wonder of how does all of this happen? How are we able to see the beautiful colors of all the flowers around us? How are we able to, look at the picture of our child or grandchild and feel that sense of awe and wonder? And there's an element of really coming back to that, really grounding yourself in what makes you feel that sense of beauty that transcends just the physical image you're looking at, and instead transports you to touching heaven on earth, to seeing the great mystery, to feeling your connection to the great mystery through something that you see of true beauty. I'm actually going to pull an additional advice card here as well. So let's see what we're going to take. Just one little additional look here for the Sisterhood of the Rose. I also like that it says priestess, mystic, teacher. There's this element of really also diving into, with the High Priestess coming up here, really leaning into the kind of mystery. You saw a vision for yourself. Allow yourself to honor that vision that you intuitively have seen for yourself. And I like the Seahorse Spirit. Watch and wait, number 53, breaks down to a number 8, which is the number of personal empowerment, empowered leadership, and actual physical abundance. So watch and wait. Yeah, sometimes we have to just get back to finding that element that allows us to tap into that feeling of beauty. And that as we sit and kind of, I would say this month, it is about reconnecting to awe and wonder so that you can connect emotionally. It's almost like opening up that emotional channel within yourself. That's where Spirit gets to come in. Opening up that emotional channel and watching and waiting to see that as you do that, where are you being guided? Where are those points of beauty that come through and say, oh my gosh, as I'm looking at this, it brings me tears of joy. And that's saying, go more into that. Go deeper. Follow those points. And those points are what's going to actually allow you to finally make that wish for yourself. I love that. Okay, Capricorn. So I'm going to pull one final card here for the concept of the overarching spiritual lesson that you're learning for yourself this month. And I'll read the full excerpt from the book that comes with this oracle deck, so that you can get an additional message that doesn't come directly from me. So we have number 43, the sixth ray of devotion. And let's see what it says, if I can find it. Okay. It says, the sixth ray of devotion bestows the qualities of persistence, unwavering focus, and intensity of feeling. It is a gift of the strength to move mountains with your will for what you love. I love this. When the sixth ray of devotion appears, you are being given guidance that even if you do not seem to have much worldly power right now, the power of your beliefs can conquer obstacles. The Archangel Uriel helps you receive the blessings of the sixth ray now. You are receiving a blessing of the sixth ray of devotion. It is serving your soul growth and will help you develop faith in your principles and trust in the power of your beliefs. You will be able to recognize and appreciate the extraordinary strength within you and realize that you have enough willpower to keep working towards your dream, overcoming any obstacle until you are divinely successful. And that is your birthright, Capricorn. Again, you are the one who has every ability to climb to that top of the mountain. But isn't it much better to climb to the top of the mountain when you are connected to, on an emotional level, to the meaning that the top of the mountain holds for you, the true dream? What are you going to see and experience once you get to the top? The sixth ray reminds you of the power of love, which can conquer anything and everything. Love is an empowering, motivated force far stronger than fear. Love is the foundation of authentic spiritual devotion. Devotion to the divine empowers us to bear burdens, overcome obstacles, and manifest all manner of beautiful visions in a world that may at first assure us that our dream is not possible. And boy, isn't that tying right into Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion. If you can devote yourself to what is beautiful to you, truly, that is, you are working with the divine. You are channeling source, spirit in a pure way, and it will always be honored. It says the sixth ray blesses you with spiritual stubbornness and sacred rebellion against any odds. I like this. It says the challenge with the sixth ray is to not become so anchored in your beliefs that you become fanatical, judging others because their beliefs are different. You can be unwavering in your adherence to your belief system and yet honor the fact that there are as many paths to the divine union as there are people, that the ways the universe calls you home to love are unlimited. And I think I'm going to pause here, that's a very important concept, and it's one that I actually speak to quite a bit in my other videos, in that we each are part of a bigger collective kind of matrix, if you will, of the human experience. And there is a need, like what I was saying earlier with connecting to the element of balance in our universal experience, that for every person who sees in one specific way, that is balanced by somebody who sees in the opposite. And that allows us to have a very well-rounded and unique and ever-growing, innovative experience as humankind. And if we don't allow others to be themselves, then we can offset the balance within our growing spiritual evolution as a true race of people. So it says, if you do not honor this, you may try to pull people from their own path, which can create unnecessary struggle for them and unnecessary karma for you. The best way to honor the blessing and minimize the challenge of this ray is to share your truth with an open heart and an open mind. Share without agenda. For those working with this energy, the power of mind and emotions will come into focus. You may need to channel your emotional and mental power into worthy projects or practice balancing your intensity with lightness of heart and playfulness so you don't become harsh or despairing if things appear not to be working out the way you believe they should. Then your faith can remind you love always finds a way. When Archangel Uriel connects with you, a tremendous power, the power of Earth, is brought to your aid. In Capricorn, you obviously are the cardinal Earth sign, so this is a big deal. It says Uriel brings healing energy and an ability to cause real effect in the physical world with your mental and emotional power. 6 of Swords with the 10 of Cups. Remember, you are here to shine your light. Others can choose to use your light to see by until they are ready to discover their own inner light, or not. It is not anything you need to worry about. Simply live your truth, trust in your heartfelt beliefs, and devote yourself to love. Finally, as the 6th ray has a special connection to religion and love, you are asked to hold the healing power of love in your heart for all those who are evolving through a life experience involving religious practice. This can help counterbalance the judgment and fear that exists in the hearts of many towards religions that are not their own or that have been the vehicle through which abuse of has taken place. Religion on this planet at this time needs love, support, and encouragement to evolve, heal, and grow in whatever way ultimately serves divine love. And I love that. When we think about religion, religion is just an organized way for people to work with their spiritual experience. And sometimes, when we look at now in our current everyday society or cultural experience, that can look like even, how we choose to the political sides that we take, to the causes that we choose to align ourselves with. And that is also an expression of our spiritual connection, of our spirituality, of a way to see where we uniquely fit in the greater collective experience and to navigate through something, through an organized way of being able to navigate that relationship. And so for some of you, it could be something around that. It could truly be organized religion. It could be something even around, an individual practice, those who are choosing to do, more, maybe things like this, the more esoteric kind of experience. Or it could be even getting into politics or cultural things that are happening in your wherever you live, or causes. This could be environmental causes or something that really plays to what that seed that lies within yourself for that great dream that you'd love. When you think about if you could manifest heaven on earth for yourself, what would that involve? And that's what allows you to see where to focus your attention, but also understand at the same time that no two people's idea of heaven will ever be the same. And so we can't force our view on others. We can only invite others. We can only chase our dream and allow others to honor that, but we need to honor that in others as well. So it's kind of like just keep your eyes focused on your dream, your heaven on earth. Be devoted. You're being gifted with the ability to kind of overcome all obstacles to really manifest this abundance for yourself, to take what you can feel and manifest it in the physical for yourself. But this is the month where you get clear on that. You get clear on the dream, and you get clear on the vision of how you're going to build that. All right, Capricorn, I feel like this has been a very powerful message. I wish you all a wonderfully empowering month of September, one in which you face those fears within yourself, admit to yourself what you want, and you go for it in only the way that a Capricorn can make it happen. If you'd like to book a personal reading or just learn more about the services that I have to offer, you can click on the link in the description box below, and you will be able to visit my website. All right, everyone, I will see you for next month's reading in October. Until then, bye.